Well, here we are on the second leg of our Northumberland tour. In this section we're going to be looking at the rural locations and what they have to offer, and some of the tourist attractions in the hills and vales of Northumberland. Although Anglian mercenaries had settled in small numbers during the 5th century, it was not until the Anglian leader Ida landed at Bamborough in 547 that the British kingdom of Brynwick fell under the sway of Anglian kings to become Bernicia. From the fortress at Bamborough, the pagan Angles gradually extended their power from the Northumberland coast inland to the Millfield Basin and beyond. Around 593, Ida's grandson, Ethelfrith, became king, and in a series of campaigns defeated British, Scots, Irish and Pict forces, and in 604 occupied York to create the Kingdom of Northumbria. Etal is a small picturesque village near the Scottish border and the historic battle site of Flodden. Etal originated with the arrival of the Normans in the 11th century. In the 14th century, the land here was owned by Robert de Manners, who got permission to castellate his manor house to protect it from the border raids of the Scots. The Manners family swapped the Etal estate with the Crown for lands further south, away from the marauding Scots. The fortification was developed into a castle under the monarchy by the end of the 14th century. It was captured by James IV of Scotland in 1513, however he was killed a few days later in the Battle of Flodden. By 1859, Etal estate was inherited by Lady Waterford, and she redeveloped the nearby village of Ford with schools and houses for tenants, combining the two estates. Etal was bought by Lord Joycey in 1908, and it's still owned by the Joycey family today. It has the only thatched pub in Northumberland. The castle here was built in 1278 as part of England's defences against the Scots, and involved in many battles through the centuries. In 1761 it passed to the Delaval family, who rebuilt it. The castle and the estate was acquired by the Joycey family in 1907. Lord Joycey was a very rich coal magnate in Northumberland. The castle remains in the Joycey family now, but is leased to the Northumberland Education Authority as an outdoor education centre. The Ford and Etal estates are still owned by the Joycey family. Woola's origins are unknown, and is mentioned for the first time in 1107 when the first Baron of Wooler was appointed. Today it's a well-known market town on one of the main roads to Scotland and provides a gateway to the Cheviot Hills for walkers and tourists. Ingram is popular with hill walkers for the beautiful valley carved out by the River Breamish. A Bronze Age settlement and Linnup Spout, which is a 60-foot waterfall just along the road a little bit higher up the valley, are just some of the attractions here. Alnwick is a Saxon word meaning town on the River Aln. The town dates back to 600 and was an agricultural centre. The lion you see on the column behind me welcomes you as you come into Alnwick, and it is the Percy family emblem. It appears on the flag of Northumberland, and of course the Percy family now are the Duke and Duchess of Northumberland, and they obviously reside at the castle. Alnwick has many tourist attractions, and this is one of them. It's the old railway station here at Alnwick, and nowadays it is barter books. Any second-hand books you can bring and trade in for vouchers so that you can obviously make new purchases. But a very, very popular destination for tourists in Alnwick. As you can see from the plaque here, inside this hotel is the interior from one of the dining suites on the SS Olympic, which of course was the sister ship to the Titanic. So if you believe the conspiracy theory that the names on the two ships were switched at the last minute, then what's inside this hotel is actually one of the rooms from what should have been the Titanic. When the SS Olympic came to the end of its life, it was broken up here in the northeast in Jarrow, which is on the River Tyne, of course, and the owner of this hotel bought one of those oak interiors and had a room specifically built in this hotel, the exact same size, so that that interior could be installed. A lot of the Harry Potter film was done here at Alnwick Castle, and following that Alnwick became world famous. Shortly after, it was voted the best place to live in Britain, which shot the house prices up here, and it still remains a very, very popular tourist destination. This street behind me also featured in Downton Abbey, one of the Christmas specials. Alnwick Castle is home to the Duke of Northumberland, and the present Duke, of course, is the latest descendant of the Percy family, one of the most powerful medieval families and Earls of Northumberland. and his wife, the Duchess, is responsible for the creation of Alnwick Garden, also another major tourist attraction here in Alnwick. Evidence of ancient settlements are all around this area, but the town of Rothbury grew because it stands at a crossroads and river crossing over the River Coquet. Rothbury is also popular with bikers because of the meandering roads leading to the town. Cragside Hall was built in 1862 by Sir William Armstrong, the great inventor and industrialist from Newcastle. He installed a hydroelectric generator, and the hall became the first house in Britain to have electricity. Today it is owned by the National Trust. Edlingham Castle was a small fortified tower house. The remains are principally those of a tower, living quarters, service ranges and enclosed cobble courtyard. The castle's defences were strengthened in response to raids by the Border Reivers, which happened repeatedly all along the Anglo-Scottish border. About 1200 a stone hall house was built, and it was relatively a peaceful time. The house did not need strong defences. However, in 1296, the intervention of England in the succession to the Scottish throne began 3 centuries of warfare, border raiding, economic hardship and social instability. Most of the minor gentry fortified their homes. Over several generations, the existing house at Edlingham was made defensible, and this process of fortification is particularly clear. Morpeth is a derivative of Murder Path, so named because travellers who crossed the river here were often robbed and murdered. Morpeth was founded at the crossing point over the River Wansbeck, and evidence has been found of its existence since prehistoric times. Today it is an affluent, busy and thriving market town. This is Ben Shaw Moor on the road to Otterburn, and what you can see is the moorlands of Northumberland, and the flat-topped hill in the distance is Cheviot. Otterburn gets its name from the nearby stream, which was populated by otters. It is known in history because of the Battle of Otterburn with the Scots in 1388. The castle was built in the 11th century by a cousin of William the Conqueror. Today it is a hotel and popular wedding venue, as is the Le Petit Chateau. Otterburn is another popular destination for motorcyclists, again because of the approach roads to the village. Otterburn Mill is popular with the royal family, who have commissioned many rugs and tweed garments. The area surrounding here is all part of the Northumberland National Park. Evidence of settlements here go back 6,000 years, including the Romans and the Normans. Its name Kielder is derived from the ancient Gaelic name for the nearby River Calder. Today the area hosts the largest man-made forest in England and also the largest man-made lake in Britain. Before the wall was built, a road connected forts in Newcastle at Sedgeudunham to Carlisle. It still remains today typically Roman, in a straight line, and called the Military Road. Hadrian's Wall was built by the order of the Emperor Hadrian following his visit to Britain in AD 122. It was planned as a continuous wall with a mile castle every Roman mile, which is 1.48 kilometres, and 2 turrets equally spaced between each mile castle. The wall with its defensive ditches and large forts stretched from coast to coast, Carlisle to Newcastle, a distance of 80 Roman miles, approximately 120 kilometres or 75 miles. It formed the northernmost frontier of the Roman Empire. This is a place called Sedgeudunham, a large fort at the eastern end of Hadrian's Wall. The town that surrounds it is Wallsend, aptly named, Just behind me here is a sculpture of a Roman centurion, and the large tower you can see on this side is an observation tower where you can look out over the ruins of the fort. Closed at the moment because of the COVID pandemic. Vindolanda was a Roman fort built around 85 AD to help protect the Roman road between Carlisle and Newcastle before Hadrian's Wall was built. Chester's is one of the forts found near Cholerford along Hadrian's Wall. It was built just after the completion of the wall in 124 AD and was known as Kilernum, or the cavalry fort. It housed around 500 soldiers and was occupied until the Romans left in the 5th century. Howsteads lies midway along the wall and is the most complete example of a Roman fort in Britain and the best known. It was built at the same time as the Roman wall and housed around 800 soldiers. The rock crag you see here that the wall is built on is part of the windsill, which you will remember we saw outcropping at the coast in Howick Bay. When the Romans left Britain, the wall was demolished and the stone used to build towns and villages. They nearly all have names including the word wall, such as Wall Bottle, Wall Houses, Wall Town, and here at Heddon on the Wall. According to the history books, Corbridge was originally a Roman town called Costopatum, but this is not strictly true. Its true Roman name was Coria. It's 2 miles south of the wall and a base for Roman legions serving at the wall. A succession of forts were built here, and it was an important crossing over the River Tyne. The bridge here was built in 1235 and replaced a ford and ferry, but it sort of got ruined in various floods over the years, and the present bridge was rebuilt in 1674. Corbridge has had a stormy past. In 796, Ethelred, the King of Northumbria, was slain here. King Ragnald the Dane defeated the English and Scots armies here. In 1138, King David I of Scotland occupied the town. In 1201, it was searched by King John. It was 3 times burned by William Wallace in 1296, by Robert the Bruce in 1312, and in 1346 by David II of Scotland. Today it is a popular tourist destination. The name Hexham comes from the Saxon words meaning a son who takes land outside the settlement. Hexham Abbey was founded in 674 by Wilfrid, a bishop who had trained on Lindisfarne. Most of the stone that built the abbey comes from the Roman wall at Corbridge when it was pulled down after the Romans left. Hexham has been involved in many battles with the Scots and was one of the towns sacked and burned by William Wallace when he invaded England in 1297. Hexham today is a busy and popular market town. As well as being a busy market town, Hexham is also a very affluent agricultural area, and you can see here some very ingenious use of open space while this COVID pandemic is on, with the sale of agricultural equipment and stores. The River Tyne runs through Hexham and pretty much forms the southern boundary to Northumberland, and Hexham is about midway along Hadrian's Wall between Newcastle and Carlisle.